Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Darshawn McAway. You're tuned in to WowPodcast. By all means, go to wowpodcast.me. That's WOWPODCAST.me. Now, today we're going to speak to Mary Elizabeth Jackson. She's going to talk about her latest book, Poohlicious, the Wonder of Me. Mary, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome. I am so excited. It's a gorgeous day, and I'm excited to talk to you and to talk about my new book. I'm excited.
So you got a new book coming out. When is the release date?
March 10th, this Tuesday, is the official release date for the book.
Okay, so tell me about Poohlicious, the Wonder of Me. What is this book about?
It's the third in my children's series, and this one is it's really good for ages 4 to 7. And actually, I was reading last week, and there were some 5th and 6th graders in there when I was reading to the kids for Read Across America week, and they loved it as well. The premise of the story is about going into, those ages 4 to 7, the awkwardness, the silliness of that age, and really kind of seeing the silver lining of who they are and things about themselves, and being able to kind of laugh at themselves and their friends, and accepting who they are, knowing that mommy loves them no matter what. And there are I am statements in the book. So my goal is to teach kids early in their life words of empowerment, words that they can turn to if they're having a bad day, to kind of learn that positive self-talk early and have those things to turn to. So that's what this book is working towards for kids. And in the back of the book, there are positive affirmations for adults as well, because we can use them as well, right? We all have tough days,
Right.
And then I have got some extra tools and things for kids. We did some projects last week in the classroom, and the kids really loved it. And some of those are going to be on my website that'll be free for teachers to use in classrooms and homeschooling families and churches and schools and preschools and things like that. And then also in working on like a journal for kids K through 2 to go along with it. So I'm very excited because so far the reaction has been the feedback's been really good.
So I know you a little bit more than everyone else does because we have a chance to talk back and forth. But why is a project like this so passionate to you?
Well, I feel like our kids, the bullying situation that we have is not really going away or getting better. And I know, you probably dealt with it when you were a kid. I did. It's been around forever. But I feel like today, with kids having so much kind of coming at them social media wise, even young kids who are on, Facebook and their parents' phones, and they hear stuff from older siblings, I feel like they need to learn tools early, because these kind of things aren't really being taught in homes these days, it seems like. And trying to be more aware of this for children, I think it's so important today, because they have so much they're up against, So if we can give them something to turn to that's actually free, because words are free, and learning that self-regulation of their emotions and how to come back and be resilient from things that happen to them. Because granted, no matter what we do for our kids or how we raise them, they're going to have challenges in life. So let's gear them early to be able to handle those situations, or at least have something to turn to be able to help,
When you're parenting, are you like 100% transparent, or do you have a tendency to kind of shield things from your children?
Being a parent who has children from the ages 19 down to 6, I'm going to say it depends on what age of the child that I'm talking to. My 19-year-old, I don't shield anything from her, because she's at college, she's dealing with a lot of life things, and she needs to know the truth about stuff. And I think the younger that a child is, you do have to kind of sugarcoat that a little bit, and you have to put it in terms that they can understand. Like my little guy is 6, so we do have to talk about, protecting his body, and, that my privacy is my privacy, and this is my space, and that's your space. So I think that we kind of have to censor that depending on what age it is. That's a real tricky thing to kind of maneuver through, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's been very
Yeah.
difficult for me to figure out what's the appropriate thing to say to my daughter about a subject matter that I feel like it's a little too soon for her to hear about. But then I start thinking about where if I tell her, she'll understand it from her standpoint, but not really from an adult standpoint. I believe what's happening out here in the world now is everyone is being transparent with their children, and the children understand it from what the parents talking about, but they don't really understand it, the consequences of it, so to speak.
Right. I agree with you. And I think that's why we have to, as parents, it's our responsibility to see it from both ways. And that's why I think for me, I try to explain it in the terms that my 6-year-old's going to understand. And I try to write from the point of view of a child as well and where their mind is. And that's part of the problem we have right now. Kids are they have so much access to things that are beyond what their understanding is. And video games and things that are on the different social medias we have. And they are great tools for a lot of us, right, in this world
Mm-hmm.
with business and keeping in contact with family and sharing something that we have, like a new book or a new radio show or podcast or things like that, or we got a home for sale. So our kids are being hit with stuff really, really young from an adult perspective. And they can't really understand it. So it is our responsibility to go in and teach them from their age how to understand something. So I agree with you. That it is a challenge, though. It
Yeah.
is a challenge.
It's very imperative that we as parents teach our children the right way as much as possible, but when it comes to books, to let them enjoy reading and have fun. And I believe that Poohlicious, Oh, the Wonder of Me is one of the best examples of like being perfect but imperfect, but also having fun, a fun read as well.
You know what? We really have to accept ourselves no matter what shape, size, or form we come into this world. And that's what I'm hoping to do with kids. Like, they're very, even early on, they worry about what others think about them. And teaching them resilience and seeing the silver lining and things. I mean, that starts early on with children, and they do emulate everything they see from us as parents. So it really is our responsibility to, you could say, clean our act up, and be
Right.
the best examples that we can be for our kids. We don't realize all the things that our children watch us do day in and day out until you see them actually do it, or even when they're older. I've kind of witnessed that even in my older kids, and it's like, wow, because I'm a different person, 20 years later, raising a
Right.
child. And so it's like, wow, okay, I wish I would have known that then. I'm trying to reflect back on what can I do differently this time that's better and healthier. And not that I was, we all make mistakes as parents, right? We try to do our best.
Yeah.
And we have to learn from those. And then doing that ourselves teaches our kids, learn from your mistakes and learn from your judgments and learn from those things you believe about yourself and do it, have a healthier viewpoint on it.
Right. So are you going to be doing any type of events coming up, any book signings, or what do you have going on now?
Yes. So I have a national radio show interview this evening. I've got some other interviews coming up in the next several weeks, and events at different libraries around where I live, and going into schools. Now we have break coming up, so that'll kind of be a week where nobody's doing anything, it's like that kind of stuff, because schools will be out around here. But I've got my schedule trying to fill it up with getting the book out, and I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel here in the next week or two that's edutainment, and it's my son and I doing children's book reviews, and your books will be on there. And I'm so excited about that. So people can see they can see his reaction to the books as we're reading them. And then education about tools that are really helpful for kids of all abilities and disabilities. Just kind of common sense things that can be done at home and when you're out places, or things to help if a child has handwriting issues or reading issues, things like that. So I've got all of that coming up, and working on some projects that kids can use at home and in schools and stuff. So my plate's my stove is full of pots cooking, and yours is too, isn't it?
Yeah, you sound very busy. So let's tell everyone where they can purchase your book and where they can reach out to you if they want to, get some helpful advice from you.
Okay, so maryejackson.com is my website. So the book will be for sale there starting Tuesday. And I'm starting to put videos up on there for anybody out there who has got a child with special needs or disabilities. Maybe they're looking at a possible diagnosis of their child. They're in the beginning stages of it. Kind of working through all that, because it can be very overwhelming as a parent or a caregiver of a child like that, who is needing some extra help. Then the YouTube channel will be up in the next week or two, and that link will be on the website. And then you can find me on, we have Writers Corner Live TV on Facebook. And if you go there, you can look through the interviews, and Darshan is on there from this past week.
Right.
And then on Mondays, those shows are on Tuesday, but then they're also sitting there on Facebook, so people can scroll through and find them. And then I have a special needs TV show that's all about, it has everything to do with special needs disabilities, resources and stories and advice and things like that. So I am on Facebook is maryejackson.author, and Instagram is maryjackson444. Twitter, Mary_E_Jackson, and then I guess Mary E. Jackson on LinkedIn as well.
Well, with that being said, I'm your host, Darshan McAway. You're tuned in to WowPodcast. By all means, go to wowpodcast.me and check out all the latest interviews. We're talking to Mary Elizabeth Jackson. She's talking to us about her book, Poohlicious, Oh, the Wonder of Me. Mary, thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thank you, Darshan. And to let everybody know, you did do a blurb on my book. So your voice and words are there to be in infamy, right?
Yes, indeed. And thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much. And I thank you for this opportunity today. Thanks.
No problem.